First, I would like to say thank you to the symposium committee for accepting my speech. My name is Çiçek Karaöz. I am a PhD candidate from Turkey. I'm studying on the Attic pottery importation of Dasklaion. In this presentation, I will draw a general picture on Dasklaion's taste and preferences in Attic pottery, the character and the volume of its importation. Then I will try to catch similarities between Dasklaion's importation patterns and the other regions within the Persian Empire through statistical analogies. I will question the reasons of the parallelisms, and finally I will try to understand how they ended up here by following some possible trade routes. Before beginning my presentation, let's keep in mind that evaluating ceramics as an evidence of trade and economic exchanges is a tricky business. The distribution maps often reflect the intensity of scholarly research rather than the actual distribution of artifacts. But it is hard to deny that they are the best documented Greek crafts import, so it offers important proxy evidence for the geographical reach of many much more expensive goods. Now I would like to talk a little bit, do an introduction on Dasklaion. Dasklaion was situated in the northwestern Turkey on the southeastern shore of Manyas Lake. On the Hisar Tepe, we may see the vestiges of a Persian administrative center which controlled the Hellespontine Phrygia and probably Bithynia, Paphlagonia, Phrygia and Cappadocia. Now a little bit of history of the city. The first settlement remains in Dasklaion begin to be seen as early as 8th century BC. The city shows Phrygian character before entering the Lydian dominance. In fact, in the later centuries, until the Hellenistic period, this ethnic group appears to have formed an important part of the city's demographic structure. Somewhere during the 7th century, Dasklaion became included in the Lydian cultural realm. When the Lydian kingdom was terminated by Cyrus the Great, the Achaemenidian period in Dasklaion began, and thanks to its strategically important location, the city became the administrative center of the satrapy of Hellespontine Phrygia. Especially the Paradisos of Dasklaion, today took the name of Manyas Bird Paradise as a national park, was well known by the ancient authors. Then during the Eastern campaign of Alexander the Great, in 334, the Macedonian commander Parmenion captured Dasklaion as a result of the Battle of Granikos near Biga in the southern Marmara. In Roman period, we don't see any traces of settlement in Dasklaion, apart from a few farms in the vicinity. And finally, in the Middle Ages, a castle rises on the hill of Hisar Tepe, where the Acropolis once was. Whoever ruled Dasklaion, its people always kept its Anatolian character throughout the entire historical process. As I stated earlier, the settlement seems not to have started before the 8th century, if we look at the architectural remains. But as far as we know from a few artifacts found in the recent excavations, that the region, which includes Hisar Tepe, means Dasklaion, may have already began to cultural and probably commercial exchanges as early Bronze Age. Although few objects won't be enough to call it a flow of importation, of course. According to the excavated material, Dasklaion became, from that date, 8th century onward, an important city which functioned as a major post and station for the cultural and material trade carried out by Phrygia along its river valleys or major land routes. Another evidence for Dasklaion's external trade activities was its proximity to the port city of Kyzikos. Dasklaion may have functioned as a secure station for the trade activities of merchants and artisans from different ethnicities due to its connection with Kyzikos. During the archaic and classical periods, Dasklaion seemed always housed a community able to buy some of the most à la mode products of the time, especially Attic pottery. The vases of all shapes and techniques, produced by the renowned potters and painters, were imported by the Dascleon elite. A big number of some of the large-scale productions like the Hyman painter Kapskufoy or the Beldan painter Lekitoy, found in various contexts, shows that the ordinary people was not in the lack of Attic pottery either. In fact, in the late 5th, 4th century, the Attic pottery demand in Dascleon was so high that the black gloss Atticizing non-Attic pottery formed the biggest pottery group throughout the settlement's history. The studies on Athenian pottery found in Dascleon until today had provided some useful information on which periods the importation increases and decreases. In Dascleon, Attic black gloss pottery is seen from the beginning of its importation globally, the second quarter of the 6th century, as a proof of blooming trade relations with Athens. The earliest black gloss pottery belonging to the Achaemenid period of Dascleon dates to circa 525, and the form repertory is quite narrow. Imports increased rapidly between the end of the 6th century and the first years of the 5th century, and many new forms were added to the repertory. Especially in 5th century, this type of pottery reached its peak in terms of its quantity and form range. They dramatically outnumbered the Attic figured pottery and coral red vessels. In the first 20 years of the 5th century, the increase in imports slowed down a bit, but new forms continued to come. In the second quarter of the 5th century, the purchase increased and certain forms, such as stemless cups, began to be preferred. Even though we see a slight decline in imports in the third quarter of the 5th century, there is an increase in the last quarter of the century compared to the previous period. The form repertory of the Attic black gloss pottery imported in the 4th century was very rich. The first quarter of the century has been the peak period for their importation. Then we see a gradual decrease throughout the rest of the century, and it has continued to be imported continuously up to 320. So I want to pass to important traits of the Athenian pottery found in Dascleon. The fixing holes and lead clamps of many Athenian waist shirts found in Dascleon suggest that these vessels continued to be used for a long time as decoration items, even if they lose their original function. Therefore, it is understood that these vases were prestigious and important products for the people of Dascleon, perhaps transferred through the generations. Now, especially an important layer, very heavily burnt layer, which we found in front of a tumulus in Dascleon, yielded a lot of Attic pottery sherds, and lots of them have fixing holes and lead clamps on them. So maybe it means that there was a workshop here, there was an atelier here to repair the ceramics, maybe. When we look at the form preferences in Attic pottery importation, we see that in every period the craters and drinking vessels from the symposium form repertory were intensely bought. Even if they were not found en masse in residential or symposium contexts, drinking vessels and craters largely dominating Dascleon's Attic imports prove that, nevertheless, they were imported to Dascleon for their own sake, rather than as containers or used goods of Greek traders, as secondary uses for them are hard to imagine. They occur in such number and with such distribution as to preclude their interpretation as the used goods for traders. And another really important trait of these pottery are the graffitos incised on especially the cups, the Athenian cups. There are sometimes Greek inscriptions, and also there are a lot of Phrygian inscriptions. It's really important because we know that in these periods the Phrygians are not in control of the area, but we see that they still exist and they can use their inscription. For example, on one of the cups, Attic cups from 480, it is written Vanax. The meaning is the king in Phrygian. So it means that maybe the servants wrote the name king on the cup to not confuse with the other cups maybe. So to summarize, the Athenian ways importation of das Leon, the expression of business as usual is really good, I think. Even though the Athenians and the Persians were on war during the 5th century, recent excavations showed that the political conflicts or cultural differences never interrupted the trade and the circulation of the Attic pottery importation in most of the Anatolian settlements, with the beginning of Persian reign in the mid-6th century. Das Cleon's commercial contacts with other centers of Western Anatolia seem to have been intensified in this period. The main reason was the fact that Persians provided a well-established and secure road network all over the land under their sovereignty. Especially in Troad and Dardanos, there was a great increase in Attic black-figured pottery in the last quarter of the 6th century and the first quarter of the 5th century. This period, when Hellespontos and Bosporos entered Persian dominance, provided peace, prosperity, and economic equilibrium. The traces of the impoverishment in the Ionian cities under the yoke of Athens during the first decade of the 5th century, nor the gaps in the importation of Attic pottery due to the unbalanced political relations with Persians are not seen in das Cleon. While an overall pattern of increase is seen in the quantity of Attic pottery imported to western fringes of the Achaemenid Empire in the late 6th and 5th centuries, thanks to the peaceful conditions helpful to trade that pertained under the new empire, Levant and Cyprus took their toll as well. We see a gradual increase through the 6th century, reaching its peak somewhere in the first quarter of the 5th century. So I want to make it a little short. I won't say a lot of things, but you see the diagram. On the diagram, it somewhere fits the importation to the Levant and Cyprus and Egypt, the das Cleon's importations, and somewhere there are less and some there are more, and there are a lot of similarities between. So it is understood that the Achaemenid Empire brought peaceful conditions and stability which secured a regular flow in trade. And independent from their location and the political events, most of the centers within the empire, even if they are located on the major trading routes or not, showed similar patterns in the importation of Athenian pottery. So let's talk a little bit on trade routes. One of the most impressive features of Achaemenid polity was its imperial postal system, comprised of mounted messengers and relay stations spread along the major arteries of the empire at regular intervals. This control and secure road system that connects the provinces has been a very important advantage for trade. For the first half of the 6th century, it seems that the main roles in the distribution of the black-figured pottery through the Aegean basin belonged to Aegean, Corinthian, and Ionian traders. East Greek cities seem to have traded this pottery, especially in the Propontis and Black Sea markets. Phocaea carried black-figured pottery to its colonial posts. You see here Phocaea. To its colonial posts, like Smyrna and Pitane, and then managed to supply the inland regions' demand through other big cities of Western Asia Minor. Such a model would be suitable for Propontis coast as well. These centers might have targeted potential markets in their vast hinterland. From the beginning of the 6th century, Athens tried to take control of the maritime trade in Hellespontos, or at least to make it a secure trajectory for its vast grain importation first by besieging Sigeion and then occupying the northern coastal territories of Thracian Chersonesos. As the head of the Delian League managed to keep the Black Sea trade routes under control beginning from 470s. Since Dascleon became the center of Hellespontian Phrygia in the mid-6th century, it may have had direct trade relations with Athens. With the entry of the Persians into Anatolia, one might say that Athens speeded up its pottery production and took part in commercial activities beside the Ionian traders with the aim of transporting and marketing its mass productions, such as little master cups, to the entire western Anatolia and its hinterland in the third quarter of the 6th century. Resuming, I can say that we may say that, judging by its composite demographic structure, which includes people from Mysia, Phrygia, Lydia, and Ionia, Dascleon stood in the western extension of this route and played an integral role in the commercial and cultural transfer between the regions. Thank you for your attention.